Title: Walking in the Power of Faith. Scripture reference: Hebrews 11:1. Our faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Introduction. Begin by greeting the congregation warmly and acknowledging the beauty of a new Sunday, a fresh start to experience God's presence. Introduce the theme: Walking in the Power of Faith. Emphasize that faith is the core of the Christian life and what pleases God. Share a short story or personal testimony about the power of faith to capture attention. Faith is believing without seeing. Scripture: 2 Corinthians 5-7, For we walk by faith, not by sight. Discuss how faith often requires stepping out without knowing all the details, trusting that God is working behind the scenes. Illustrate with biblical examples like Abraham, who trusted God's promise even when he couldn't see the outcome. Genesis 12:1-4. Application: Challenge the congregation to trust God's promises even when circumstances seem unclear or discouraging. Faith moves God into action. Scripture: Mark 5:30. For daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. Talk about how Jesus responded to faith during his ministry. It was faith that led to healing, deliverance, and miracles. Discuss the story of the woman with the issue of blood, who was healed by her faith. Mark 5:25-34. Application: Encourage the audience to approach God with bold and confident faith, expecting Him to move in their lives. Faith in God overcomes life's challenges. Scripture: Matthew 17:20. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, Move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Address how faith is not about the size but the authenticity and the object of our faith, God. He is faithful to honor even the smallest step of faith. Use the story of David and Goliath, 1 Samuel 17, as an example of how faith in God can overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. Application: Encourage the congregation to face their giants with unwavering faith in God's power to bring victory. Faith requires action. Scripture: James 2:17. A faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. Highlight the relationship between faith and action. It's not enough to believe, we must act according to our faith. Share examples of how the early Christians demonstrated their faith through bold action, even in the face of persecution. Acts 4:29-31. Application: Challenge the congregation to take steps of faith, to put what they believe into practice through prayer, service, and obedience. Conclusion: Reaffirm that faith is the key to living a victorious Christian life. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. Hebrews 11:6. Close with a story or testimony of how faith brought a breakthrough or miracle in someone's life. Invite anyone who needs a fresh touch of faith to come forward for prayer. Pray for the congregation, asking God to increase their faith and empower them to live boldly for Him. Altar call prayer: Invite people to respond if they need a deeper faith or are facing challenges that require God's intervention. Conclude with a powerful prayer for renewed faith, healing, provision, and God's guidance.